Hi, boys and girls. So today our skill that we want to focus on when it comes to our story Antarctic Journal is called domain-specific vocabulary. Now we've talked about this in the past, but I'm just going to read this paragraph right here to kind of refresh your memories. So, domain-specific vocabulary. Nonfiction often focuses on specific topics. Areas of knowledge are called domains. Every domain has its own set of words. For example, the words krill and phytoplankton are important on the subject of the ocean ecosystem. When you come across domain-specific words, look for clues to the meaning. On page 382, the words tiny and shrimp-like are clues for krill. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of go back here. So there's three specific words that I want to focus on, and one of them I just kind of gave you the answer to, but I want to show you how I would find the definition of these words. Now, I know that while I'm reading nonfiction, and this is nonfiction or informational text, that there are going to be specific words that relate to the topic. And in this case, our main topic or our main domain would be Antarctica. So any word that I see that relates to Antarctica would be a domain-specific vocabulary word. Now the thing with domain-specific vocabulary words is sometimes they're hard to figure out the meaning. It might be a little challenging if you don't know what the word means, so you have to use context clues. So on this page, on page 380, I want to focus on the word or phrase penguin rookery. So I'm going to read this page, and then I'm going to show you how I determined what the meaning of penguin rookery is. So it says, one of the larger islands offshore Litchfield has a penguin rookery or nesting area on the gently sloping western edge. The ground is rocky but flat enough for penguins to build nests, with a beach close by for gathering small gray nest stones. The rookery is occupied by 200 or 300 penguins. It's small by penguin standards. The penguins are nearly all Adélies, named in 1838 by Dumont d'Urville, after his wife. I wonder, did they look like her, act like her, or was he just missing her? Pairs greet each other at the nest with calls like braying donkeys. They rub chests and bellies, flap wings, stretch necks, and reach for the sky with their bills, behavior called ecstatic display. So now that I've read this whole page, my focus is on the phrase penguin rookery. Now, I've talked about this before. Anytime you find a word or a phrase that you might not know the definition of, and there's a comma after it, and then you see the word or, you get that definition directly after. So authors purposely give you that information. They use that comma or so that you can determine what the meaning of that word is. It's like a synonym of the word. So as I'm reading this, Litchfield has a penguin rookery or nesting area. So now I know that the word penguin or the phrase penguin rookery means it's a place where the penguins are nesting. Okay, and even down here, as I read further, it says the rookery is occupied by 200 or 300 penguins. I know that the word occupied means it's taking up space. Okay, so that means that all of these hundreds of penguins are living there. Okay, and then I also see down here it says each pairs greet each other at the nest. So all of these specific clues help me determine that the phrase penguin rookery is a nesting area. Now I want to focus on this one here, ecstatic display. They even put that in quotation marks here because that's what they call it. So if I reread this paragraph, pairs greet each other at the nest with calls like braying donkeys. They rub chests and bellies, flap wings, stretch necks, and reach for the sky with their bills, behavior called ecstatic display. So I'm thinking, okay, they're calling out like braying donkeys. They're rubbing their chests and their bellies. They're flapping their wings. Ecstatic display, I'm assuming, based on all of those different behaviors, is they're excited when they see each other. When they greet each other, they're kind of going a little crazy. So a static display is a way for penguins to express how excited they are when they greet their other penguin friends. Let's go to page 382. Now, I kind of talked about this when I read what domain-specific vocabulary is, but krill is definitely one of the words I want to focus on here. So I'm going to reread this page here. It says, I have learned that the largest animal on Earth, the 100-ton blue whale, eats only one of the smallest animals on Earth, krill. There are more krill in the seas than there are stars in the visible universe. Krill is one link in a simple food chain. Penguins, seals, and whales eat krill. In turn, the tiny shrimp-like krill eat phytoplankton, one-celled plants that bloom in the sea in the spring and summer. So, based on these two paragraphs here, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I don't know what krill is. I see this funny word, it says krill, and I see that there are more krill in the sea than there are stars in the visible universe. So I automatically know that it's a really small creature of some sort. Then, in this sentence, it says, in turn, the tiny shrimp-like krill. So, tiny and shrimp-like help me figure out that they're just a tiny creature that other animals feed off of. And here, guys, look at this. I even have a picture. Sometimes when we don't know the meaning of words, they show you a picture with the caption of what the word is. So this domain-specific vocabulary of krill, I can see, it even says, sketch of a seal above 5 smaller creatures labeled krill. So I know that all these little guys right here, they're all what krill is, okay? Let's go to the next page because there's one more thing I want to talk about here. Now, this is on December 24th at Palmer Station, so we've read this story. I hope you've read this story multiple times. And at this point in time, the author is, she leaves the, where she was staying, and she goes to the glaciers, okay? So I'm just going to read the last two paragraphs here. It says, near the top, I heard a cracking sound, a slap magnified 1,000,000 times in my ear. Another followed, and then another. Echoes of sound, aftershocks sizzled in the air. The sky began to glow with an eerie luminescence, as if someone in the heavens had switched on a neon light in place of the sun. I felt myself dropping straight down. A crack had appeared under me, a crevasse in the glacier. So this word crevasse, I have to determine what the meaning is. Now, if I'm reading these two paragraphs here, okay, she hears a cracking sound, a slap magnified, okay? Then it almost kind of said, like, it gives you like almost like a fearful thing of what's happening because she hears echoes of the sound and aftershocks, okay? So that cracking sound is a symbol, like a context clue to help you figure out what is a crevasse. Well, it says, I felt myself dropping straight down. A crack had appeared under me. And again, look at this, guys. You have that comma there, okay? A crack had appeared under me, a crevasse in the glacier. So if I took this word out, crevasse, I could say a crack in the glacier. So I know that a crevasse is a crack. And what's happening is she's falling down through that crack in the glacier. Okay? So those are just some words that we can focus on. What I want you guys to do, and I'm going to put this on the Google slide. I'm going to actually go back to page 382. So those are the main words that I want you guys to know and focus on. But is this? No, it's 381, sorry. I'm going to leave a spot for you guys to type on our Google slide for the day. And what I want you guys to do is focus on this little analyze the text box here. It says, what are some of the science-specific words and terms on page 380 and 381? What do they mean and how do you know? So I'm going to have you guys try to reread this page and come up with at least 2 domain-specific vocabulary words. Now, domain-specific vocabulary words are words that relate to the topic. And remember, our topic is Antarctica. Okay, so all I want you to do is go through this page, try to find 1 or 2 words that relate to the story and the topic, and try to determine what the meaning of those words are. Okay? Thanks for listening.